after the talk between US President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky, Russian Foreign Affairs Minister Lavrov claimed that Ukraine launched a terrorist drone attack on Putin's residence. Such reckless actions will not go unanswered, says Lavrov. My colleague Sumita is on the phone line with us. Sumita, it's just less than 1 hour ago we were discussing about whether the peace will eventually prevail between Russia and Ukraine, and the news of this attack on Putin's residence has just come in like a few moments ago. So tell us more on this and the implications of it going forward in the conversation about peace treaty, if at all, between the Ukraine and Russia.
Absolutely. So this does derail talks that transpired between U.S. President Donald Trump and and between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. But let's first go across and see what Sergey Lavrov has stated. Lavrov has stated that Ukraine tried to launch a drone attack on Putin's residence. He also stated that all drones, there were 91 of them, he stated that they attacked the Russian presidential residence in the Novgorod region, where they were destroyed by Russian air defense systems. And he said that such reckless actions will not go unanswered. And he said the targets for retaliatory strikes and the timing of their execution by the Russian armed forces has been determined. He also added, according to what Sputnik is reporting, that Russia's negotiating position will be revised given Ukraine's shift to a policy of state terrorism. Now, very interestingly, this is something that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has denied. He's denied these claims that have been made by Sergey Lavrov regarding an attempted drone attack. And, of course, this does derail, like I said, the kind of talks that have been happening, the latest set of talks that have been happening to sort of bring about this war to a halt. Remember, Donald Trump, ever since he was running for becoming the president of the United States, he was stating that he will get this war ended in a couple of hours. But, we're close to completing 1 year of Donald Trump's administration, but the war is not ending. This is also happening just a couple of hours after President Donald Trump met with President Zelensky. He categorically stated that there is no deadline, but the focus is firmly being put on ending the Ukraine war. Of course, there was security
yes, indeed. So one year of Trump administration, Sumita, 3 years of, the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, 6 face-to-face conversations between Zelensky. Both, Trump and Zelensky claim that, 90% of, the deal, of the 20-point deal for any sort of peace to prevail with Russia is through. But at the same time, Russia attacks Kyiv with drones. Then there is a Russian minister who says that Ukraine has launched a drone attack on the Putin's residence. So where are we actually headed in this conflict?
It remains to be seen where are we headed in this conflict, but definitely multiple rounds of talks between, Zelensky, that is a Ukrainian side, and, of course, the United States side has happened. We are also given to understand from multiple reports that U.S. Special Representative Steve Witkoff was also sort of having these conversations with Russia early in December. And, of course, there were expectations that there will be a meeting between Russia and the United States going forward into how this war could be brought about to an end. However, when we look at the developments of the past few hours, Donald Trump stated that we don't have deadlines. However, we made a lot of progress. It's very close and discussions happen on every subject, and that we are in the final stages of talks. So when Donald Trump says that we are in the final stages of talks, then it will either be the end of war or will go on for a very long period of time. These are telling statements by, President Trump, because he has tried to bring this war to a halt, to bring this war to an end, and he's tried everything. In fact, he's lost patience also with President Putin in the past as well. But of course, this development that is coming in Lavrov stating that there was an attempt to attack President Putin's residence does not really bode well for the talks. Another key point as far as bringing the war to a halt is concerned is the fact that security guarantees have to be given to Ukraine and to European leaders. European leaders over the past many months, ever since these talks have come up, they have brought about the issue of ensuring the security of Ukraine from Russia. And then, of course, that matter about land which is currently under Russian occupation, the Donbass region and the Zaporizhzhia plant. How will that be given away? There are other territories also that are currently under talks. And whether or not they will be given away by Russia, that remains to be seen. But definitely, it seems that Russia is going to have the last word on this. President Putin also spoke to President Trump just shortly before he spoke with Zelensky. But will Putin have the last word on this? And how? What is the direction that this war essentially takes, these developments essentially takes? And what will be President Donald Trump's commentary on the recent developments?
Yes, Donald Trump's commentary. So essentially all sorts of talks peace talks between Ukraine and Russia. After this attack, if it's indeed true, on Putin's residence, go completely under, they go in limbo after this attack, right, Sumita?